for joining us.
It's a pleasure, thank you.
So Brexit, it's a huge deal, but I want first to talk about the trade volume between UK and Turkey. So we know that 2020, it's a difficult year, totally, but still, how was the trade volume beginning from March until now? Can you make an evaluation of this year?
Well, yes, I mean, our bilateral trade has been growing consistently over the last 5 to 10 years, and we exceeded the target set by President Erdogan and our Prime Minister Theresa May on a target of $20 billion. Now, we exceeded that target. So, the number at the end of 2019 was $24 billion of bilateral trade. So, the trend is definitely upwards, and obviously this is what we want to continue in the future, depending on what happens with the 2 negotiations that are going on at the moment, which we'll talk about later. So I mean the relationship between UK and Turkey, the UK government see Turkey as a priority market, and our ongoing relationship with Turkey has been very productive, and we wish to continue that. So, we're in a good place, and as I say, once we get these 2 issues of Brexit and our free trade agreements with Turkey organised, that give us a mutually beneficial outcome, then we can move on and take off again. I mean, obviously between March and April and May, things definitely slowed down, as they did globally. So,
in terms of trade?
Yeah, so we will have seen a dip in our bilateral trade volume. But it's beginning to come back now. We're getting inquiries. The services that we provide, our DIT colleagues, Department for International Trade in the consulate, they're also working on government-to-government projects. So, I mean, once we can deal with these current problems, then we want to kick off again and start realising the obvious potential that Turkey offers.
Okay, so I will come back again on trade issues, but first let's talk about Brexit, because it's really hot topic right now. I'm already reading everything, all the news, it's about Brexit, because the time is precious. It's like 1 month left for the leaving the EU. So what are the last news? What can you say? What will happen? Deal or no deal?
Well, it's a difficult one to predict. I mean, we've seen a lot in media about sort of the breakdown of negotiations between the 2 parties. I mean, having said that, it's in the interests of both the EU and UK to have an agreement, to have a free trade agreement. It has sort of wider implications. If we have an agreement, and it has negative implications if we don't have an agreement. So, in regard to Turkey, I mean, Turkey is unique in its relationship with both the EU and with the UK, in that Turkey has a customs union agreement with the EU. Therefore, if we don't have a deal with the EU, therefore we leave without a deal, then, well, that will have a knock-on effect on our trading relationship with Turkey, because Turkey, according to the EU legislation, actually states that any country that has a customs union agreement has to negotiate a new free trade agreement through the EU. They cannot do it independently. So, that's a problem in itself, and we don't want to see that. I mean, the good thing is that both the Turkish government and the British government want to make an agreement.
Separately?
No. We want to make an agreement. I mean, that's in principle. We want an agreement. Okay. So, we, because of our long-standing trading relationship with Turkey, we don't want to lose any momentum with Turkey, and we want to see an agreement between UK and the EU. That's in the best interests of everybody, and we want to protect our current level of bilateral trade, and we want a friction-free transition post-Brexit with a deal with the EU. That's how we can achieve that. So that's what we want to happen. We don't know.
Since 2 years.
We don't know at the moment whether that actually will happen. But as I say, I mean, both our governments want to ensure that we have a frictionless, free transition from our position when we leave the EU, and Turkey's relationship with the EU. We want everybody to be mutually beneficial in that respect. So it's in the interests of the EU and the UK government to come up with a solution that enables us to get a free trade deal. I mean, that's what we want.
Okay. I know that today some EU politicians went to London to facilitate this, to make the deal. So maybe today there is a resolution. We never know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like all negotiations. They have twists and turns, and one part of the negotiation will go that way, and we'll have division, and then eventually they come back together again, and they start finding compromises, and hopefully they've identified some compromises that both parties are willing to accept, and we can progress in the way that we'd like it to progress. So yeah, it's getting very close now, and it's getting very tense. And I know for a fact, because we get inquiries from our members, from our Turkish members, they want to know what the likely outcomes are, because clarity is vitally important for business. Business wants to know what it's dealing with, and you have to plan for that. You have to plan to make sure that your business is not affected.
Okay, if there is no deal in terms of taxes and tariffs, what will happen?
Well, if there's no deal, our trading relationship with the world, basically, and Turkey would be on WTO rules. So, and there would be some issues there on tariffs. I mean, on textiles it could be as much as 12%. So that's obviously something that is a serious concern for Turkish textile companies. But as I say, I mean, businesses always find a way. I mean, otherwise, businesses wouldn't grow, they wouldn't expand, and if we know what the direction of travel is, then you can plan to mitigate against any potential problems, and that's really what we need to have over the next 3 to 4 weeks of these ongoing negotiations. If we can get clarity, then we could probably see some light at the end of the tunnel.
I saw 12%, it's huge as a tariff for textile, but I hope it won't happen.
Well, we hope it won't happen.
Yes, yeah. But now the trade volume between Turkey and UK, you said the last volume is like $24 billion. But if there is no deal, let's think like the worst. In worst case, how much this trade volume will diminish?
Well,
just an estimation.
I come back to the point I just made. I mean, you find a way to realise the potential that's on offer, and I'm sure UK companies will be looking at various ways of ensuring that our bilateral trade continues. And I mean, when it comes to investment and mergers and acquisitions, that's outside Brexit. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So, companies looking at Turkey as an investment destination, obviously that will continue. And there's lots of interest now in tech sector in Turkey. The tech sector in Turkey is growing very fast, and its capability is growing all the time. E-commerce is doing extremely well in Turkey. So, we've got a lot of capability also and leading edge technology in e-commerce and other areas, health tech, that we could come together with Turkish companies and develop.
What is the volume for the investment from the UK side in Turkey, approximately?
Approximately, I couldn't give you an exact answer on that. I don't have up-to-date information, but because of COVID, we've had 7 months where very little has progressed. But we're now beginning to see more interest coming from
How
UK.
was 2020 for investment?
It wasn't too bad. We had, Dyson and a couple of other companies, came and invested here. You looked at Bupa. They also invested here.
In 2020?
No, I'm talking 2018-19. So, there have been some big transactions going on, and there's also been transactions the other way. So, inward investment into UK from Turkish companies. So that's been growing as well. So we've been seeing growth there. We've also been seeing some serious transactions involving UKEF, UK Export Finance, who see Turkey as a high priority market, and the UKEF model works extremely well. So some transactions have already been completed with Turkish construction companies who have got major projects, not just in Turkey, but also outside Turkey. So they've been working with Enka on a power plant in Iraq. So there's lots of other areas that we can work together, to keep that momentum going.
And you think it's going to continue after this year?
Well, it will, and it's not in anybody's interest to let these issues get in the way, and businesses do find a way of avoiding some of the obstacles.
Okay, I know that you couldn't make a deal. I'm coming back to Brexit because of fisheries.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Turks love fishing. I see them every day in Istanbul, fishing in the Bosphorus.
But the Brexit, it's very weird, and
Yeah, I mean, there are two outstanding issues that are currently being negotiated. One is fisheries, and the other is what they call the level playing field, in order to prevent any competitive edge. In reality, I believe these two problems can be solved. I mean, fisheries is something that, in terms of our overall GDP, is relatively small. On the level playing field, I think the EU has to make a few compromises there. So I think there could be common ground achieved on both those issues, because I don't think we'd want to lose our trading relationship with the European Union over these two issues. I think it's important to sort of put those two issues into context in relation to what its value is to both the EU and to UK. So I mean, they're back around the table. From what we understand, today there are teams coming together again. So hopefully we'll they'll get to the right decision.
Okay, Mr. Chris, just 1 minute left from our time. So I want to hear your message to Turkish companies making investment in UK and UK companies and bilateral trade. What would you give as a message in this difficult time?
Well, I mean, remain optimistic and make sure that you're fully up to date with all the information that's available. I mean, our role as BCCT, British Chamber of Commerce in Turkey, is to provide that information, both to UK companies when it comes to market access, giving them the right advice, how to enter the market in Turkey, which companies they should be working with. And the same applies going the other way. So Turkish companies, and I mentioned earlier, the investment in UK from Turkish companies has been growing consistently. And we want that to continue. And the benefit to both countries is you sort of spread your risk a little bit, so you can protect your domestic market, and then you invest in a more developed market, and you learn and you get all the leading edge support and experience that you can bring back to Turkey. Yes. So it's a benefit to both countries. Yes. in both inward investment and outward investment. Okay. So and we have an inward investment team here in the consulate that will advise Turkish companies on what investment opportunities and how they can make that investment. So there's lots of support, and we want that to continue.
Okay, Mr. Chris, thank you for joining us, and hope to see you again.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.